There are various times that I've had to change my personality in order to get a certain change in personal reality. Now, many of you may have heard that saying before, your personality creates your personal reality. And I found that to actually be true. And the thing that a lot of people get tripped up on is they may have had something happen when they were a kid. Maybe they had an awkward moment and they started to assume that they were awkward. Maybe they've always been told they were shy, or they've always felt guilty about being more of an introverted type person. And what happens is many people then start to believe that that is who they are moving forward. They believe that that's a part of their identity. And when I looked at my own success, whether that's on YouTube, going from a 9-to-5 job to doing what I love full time, whether that's going from having ADHD to not having ADHD, whether that's from feeling unworthy and always attracting similar patterns in relationships to letting go of attracting that and attracting more amazing things into my life, I've had to change my personality steps along the way. It's just that we're given such a negative connotation about changing our personality because we think that's who we are, that is there. Well, in this video, I'm gonna share with you the steps I'm moving through, even some of the vulnerable parts in my life right now that I'm moving towards, to share with you how I'm changing my own personality to then change my personal reality, why that's not a bad thing, and why all your real personality is anyway, is it's a story you tell yourself about who you are. That's all your personality is. Your identity is a story that you tell yourself about who you are, and then that remains on autopilot, and you're just living according to that. But now you're gonna know that when it comes to personality profiles, when it comes to astrology, when it comes to numerology, I love all those tools, by the way, but I don't let the tools use me. And I don't want the tools to use you either. And in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how to reverse that, how to know your personality is flexible, how not to feel guilty about changing aspects of your personality, and step by step how to do that so that you break out of that old identity. All right, welcome back to another video. My name's Aaron. I help people expand their consciousness by making spirituality both practical and relatable. I like to mix the two. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, push the subscribe button below. Like this video if you haven't liked it yet. I know you're the kind of personality that likes the video. I just know that. So now what really has got me thinking about this, first off, you may have heard, I didn't quote that personality creates personal reality quote. I don't know who originally did. I know that Joe Dispenza said it many times, so I kind of just point to him, but your personality creates your personal reality. Now, your personality, the way that I think about it is kind of like your identity. Your identity, how do you view yourself? Now, the way that I view myself right now, you can tell how I view myself and what I think I'm capable of by my outer reflection that I'm already getting. So this is what's kind of cool about it. I'm getting kind of bored. I kind of want to walk around. I hope you guys don't mind. By the way, this is the new house in Sedona, if you guys haven't seen it yet. So this right here, it's a cool little guest house. I figured I might as well kind of show you around. In many ways, I had to change my identity towards being able to be successful in many ways, but also to allow something like this into my life, to be honest. So this is the house right over here. It's a really cool house. This is the pool. I'm gonna stay probably over here. You can kind of see, I think you can see some of the red rocks over there. But yeah, it's a very cool, I love this house. Maybe one day I'll show. If you guys want, like this video and comment below if you want me to show a house tour of this house in Sedona. I'll be going back and forth between Vegas and this house. But the lighting's good over here, so we're going back over here. So the problem and the main message of this video is understanding two things. One, your personality creates your personal reality. Your personality is a combination of how you think, how you feel, and how you act. Now, the key is we see ourselves a certain way. We have a self-image that many of us aren't aware of, but when we change that self-image, that's when within we allow magic things into our life. If I had my reality, your reality is a reflection on the outside of what you personally believe you are capable of. So some people say, I don't know what my self-image is. I don't know what my limiting beliefs are. Well, what are you currently getting as a result in your life? Are you currently working a job getting paid $35,000 a year? Are you doing what you love for a living? Are you in a healthy relationship? Are you single but want to be in a relationship? Are you in a relationship but want to be single? So these are all different things, and the way you see yourself is going to mold your reality according to that. Now the problem is that many of us believe that our personality is permanent. There's a book that recently just came out. I think his name's something Hardy is the author. It's called Personality is Not Permanent. Great book. It's honestly super similar to the stuff that I've been teaching on this channel for a very long time. It's like the core message that I want to share with people is that your identity, who you believe you are, when you change your identity, you then change your life. So when people go around like, oh, I'm gonna think a better thought, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, that's all surface level stuff. When you change your identity, it changes everything. So the key to this is understanding who you are. You don't always get in life that which you want. Sometimes you do, but you always, can I say it again? Oh, I'm sure the neighbors can hear me right now. You always get a reflection of who you are. So if you focus on who you are and you learn the skills of like the ideal version of you and you just decide that's who you are, you will then eventually be changing your reality. But it's a change in personality. So I like to use the word identity sometimes. That book I'm talking about, Personality is Not Permanent. I'll link that book below as well on Amazon. It's basically breaks down who you think you are. Now, I remember when I first read about my own astrology, even, I used to go into work every day, working my 9-to-5 job, selling women's shoes. I would read my astrology before I went into work. And if my astrology said that I was gonna have a bad day, I was gonna miscommunicate with people, I would go into work bracing myself, ready to have miscommunications. And I would find that many times it was self-fulfilling prophecies. Yeah, I will. Yeah, got you. They don't like that I'm talking too loud. I gotta be a little bit less loud, okay? So, the key to this though, is understanding the way you view yourself in correlation with what outer reflection you're getting in your life, okay? So, even when I look to any change that I've made in my own life, and even now, for example, I remember that they've shown this many times, by the way, when it comes to kids going to school. When teachers treat kids differently, what happens is those kids many times will act in accordance to the way they are treated. So I used to be like a C student in high school. Even up until my freshman year, I was a C student. And what happened is one day I went into school and there was a teacher there, and there was like this test that we took, and this teacher, and I got the results back from this test, and I actually did decent on the test. I got like I think it was like a 92 or something like that, but everyone else in the class got less than that or something. And the teacher was like, oh, Aaron, you're really smart. Or no, actually the teacher didn't even say that. I got the test results back, and other people that I was around said that. They were like, wow, you're smart. In that moment, I was like a C or D student, literally a C, D student. In that moment, I decided, I was like, I am smart. And from that moment going forward, I went from a C, D student to an A, B student, and then eventually taking honors classes and then graduating with like a 3.8 GPA. So it is just a choice that we make about who we are that changes everything in our reality. Now, the part that is important to remember though, is that once you realize what your current identity is, what your current personality is, that's when you can then change it. But when you think that it's fixed, that's gonna be when it stays there. That's gonna be when your identity stays there. So it's that belief in general. You know, a lot of times when I talk about also like limiting beliefs and how to change limiting beliefs, the thing with that is most people will then go and they'll change their limiting beliefs around money, their limiting beliefs around success or around dating. Instead of changing your limiting beliefs around those things, the thing that I recommend you go straight to is the core, your identity about who you are. And if you believe that your identity is fixed, then it'll be very hard to change those limiting beliefs in love, money, or success because of the way you already see yourself. So the one message I want you to know is that your identity, your personality is flexible. It's just that at certain points in our past, we've given ourselves permission to be, act, and feel a certain way, and that then we've stayed consistent to that. So this is about being aware of that. So when I looked to my own past, there was, you know, between between 7 to 16 years old. Many of you know my story, but I had an abusive ex-stepmom in my life, and I had no freedom whatsoever. I wasn't allowed to have, I didn't really have much of a personality. I was very much just at home with my brother. We were working outside. We weren't allowed to have friends at all. We had to earn going to school activities. And after my dad divorced her when I was 16, all of a sudden my brother and I were allowed to have friends. So what happened is we would then go out and hang out with friends, and that's when then our personality started to unleash. But I could see firsthand how much my reality changes as I developed my personality. But then as I began to redefine myself at certain states throughout my life, that's what changed everything for me. When I used to work that 9-to-5 job selling women's shoes, having ADHD, hard to focus at work, being told by other people that I had too much energy, I then learned meditation out of necessity, really, because I didn't like taking Adderall, which the side effects are you don't eat very much, you don't sleep very much. So what I did is I then started learning meditation, and that changed my whole sense of identity. That changed my personality. I started to literally visualize myself as somebody that would ground myself in grass. That's one thing I would do. I would ground myself in grass, like stand over there for like 10, 15 minutes, and then I would notice that my energy would calm down. And I would do that in the morning, at night, and I would meditate for 5 or 10 minutes a day. So that began to change my identity. One of the best things I think that some people do if like they don't view themselves as a fit person, they want to lose weight, is one identity shift thing they can do is like somebody that it normally doesn't feel comfortable doing yoga. If they were to do yoga and then start to do it consistently, like I remember when I started doing Bikram yoga, I went like, I think like maybe the first 2 or 3 days, and they tell you anytime you go to a Bikram yoga class, like come every day for a week to really get the results. After you wire it in like 7 to 10 times, you start to see yourself as a yoga person. And then that changes the identity. So the thing that I would encourage you to do is to realize that your personality is not fixed. If you're awkward, if you're shy, if you feel like you're always attracting negative patterns in your life, your personality is not fixed. Your personality is not permanent. It can change. All you have to do is make a new choice about who you are and begin to live and commit to that. I literally used to think that part of my personality was that I was a lazy person. And I was like so focused, no offense to anybody that loves like the movie The Secret, but I used to go in, and that was how I was manifesting. I was like thinking about it. And they say in the movie The Secret, you need to take action too, but I was just really just caught up in the thoughts. But I saw myself as somebody that wasn't taking a lot of action, that didn't like to. And what ended up happening is I eventually started making the daily videos on YouTube. That changed my identity. I then went from, my reality before was I was working a 9-to-5 job, I was settling with it, and I was just complaining to my coworkers about it. After I made a new choice about who I was, I am a full-time YouTuber. I will make videos every single day until that's my reality. When I committed to that vision, that's when that reality began to shift. And even then, it still took a couple months for momentum to really gain, but it started to change my reality. But also when I did that, it began to change my sense of identity. I started to see myself as a hard worker. And even now, I've been a hard worker for 2-3 years now, and now I'm shedding that, and I'm starting to work less. I'm starting to work smarter, leverage, put more quality in things than quantity, the old school mentality. So realize that your personality can shift at any moment. Many people look at me and are like, Aaron, how do you make so many videos? How do you have so much energy? And it's like 2 or 3 years ago, I didn't have any of this. Why? Because my personality was not permanent. I changed it. I made a new choice about who I was. Maybe everything in your life led you to this point right now. For you making a new choice about who you are. How do you do it? You identify your box of your identity, and then you say what is comfortable. Your ego just wants to keep you in the box. But what you can eventually do is break out of that box. How do you break out of that box? You make a new choice about who you are, and you do something that you normally wouldn't want to do. When I was afraid of talking and making videos like this, one thing I did, like we just got told by some guy that, is a neighbor, that will be quiet, you know what I mean? Like I used to be afraid to even speak in videos and do videos when I used to live at my dad's house like 3-4 years ago. I was worried my dad was gonna hear me. So what did I do to break out of that identity? I went to the Las Vegas Strip. I walked around with the gimbal, with like a little thing, and I walked around very loudly talking about very spiritual, esoteric concepts, even walking through the Bellagio and some of the forum shops, which are very busy, and people could hear me. And guess what? That was a stretch experience for me. That broke me out of my identity. I made a new choice about who I am. I'm someone that's unapologetically speaking my truth. even to the extent that it's Sunday and whatever time. So you can make a new choice about who you are at any moment. Your personality is not permanent. Your personality is flexible. You are always making new choices about who you are. The problem is most people stay inside a comfortable little box of how they have defined themselves in the past. I have used this in every single way to become successful, to grow a YouTube audience to almost 1 million subscribers, to become more abundant than ever, to travel the world, to let go of negative patterns, to feel 100% worthy and whole and complete. It all happened from a change in personality, which then changed my whole reality. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you later. Peace, much love, and namaste.